Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk by Capers and Parsons. We got our boy Mike here. The
Up.
holidays are officially over. It's the new year. This is the first episode of 2025. Mike, how we feeling, man?
Um, we doing as best as we can do right now.
All right, let's get it. Let's get directly into it without wasting any time. Jimmy Butler has requested a trade from the Miami Heat a couple days ago. He says he's happy in Miami off the court, but he thinks that it can no longer be salvaged on the court. He lost all of his happiness. Chime in on that, bro.
So it all started back to when we all know Jimmy Butler is the trolling kind of guy. He loves talking shit off the court, loves talking shit on the court. But what basically ended this relationship in a way was when he got injured in the play-in against the Sixers. He injured his MCL, took him out of the entire playoffs. But what ticked Riley off was the fact that he was talking shit off the court, saying, if I was playing, the Knicks would be out, the Celtics would be out, and Pat Riley went on a presser saying, if you ain't playing on the court, shut your damn mouth. And ever since then, that relationship has been unachieved. It wasn't able to achieve a healthy relationship after that. It was broken. And you could tell from after that playoff series, you could tell throughout the season, Jimmy Butler isn't usually the regular season kind of player that we always watch. He's always the playoff performer, put up 56
Absolutely.
against the Bucks in the first round. We all know he's playoff Jimmy. That's his nickname. But what's transpired here now is he's apparently lost joy for playing. He wants to play for any team that's not the Miami Heat. And I saw a picture where all the Heat's roster were standing up, hopefully winning this game, and Jimmy was just sitting down.
Yep.
He even said in the presser, lost my joy. Guy asked, can you get it back playing for the Miami Heat? He said, probably not. Like I said in one of the earlier podcasts that we did, I think sometime in December, personally for me, I wanted to move off of Jimmy way earlier than this because it's time to focus on the youth movement. And, we can make a play-in game or whatever. It's fine, stay competitive. But it's time to move into the youth movement with Bam, with Jimmy, with Jaime, with Jovic, Khalil Ware, that sort of youth. And that's where it seems to be going. But this relationship is not going to repair itself, and it's time for both parties to finally move on.
Okay, so let me add. So I love Jimmy Butler, okay? Jimmy Butler, after post LeBron, is the reason I watch Miami. Nobody else. Jimmy Butler. I like Tyler Hero, but Jimmy Butler.
He brought us back into relevancy.
Contradictory. When he first joined Miami, do you remember when he said, I'm so happy to be a part of an organization that holds everybody accountable?
Mm-hmm. That's what Heat culture is all encircled around.
All about.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler talking, and again, I love Jimmy Butler, so this isn't a slight to him. Talking off the court, and Pat Riley says, if you're not on the court playing, you need to be quiet, basically, right?
Holding him accountable for talking shit when you're not on the court.
And now, all of a sudden, the first time he gets held accountable, he wants out?
So the one thing I've seen on Twitter is...
What?
It's not the fact that the relationship is broken. He's trying to make it sound like it's the organization, but he just wants his bread.
Simple as that?
That personally, for me, Butler is not that... He's the kind of guy that likes retaliating and stuff, but there's no way one little sentence from Pat Riley would completely disrupt this entire relationship. That's not how.
Okay,
that's not how he is. He
was
loves
more than that.
Spo is the one that he loves. He loves Spo. Maybe it's Riley that he doesn't like, but Spo loves him. And Spo is a coach that will get you. He will get you. So he's someone that will get you accounted for, accountable for. And we saw a couple years ago, him and Haslam were going at Butler. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but, I remember that.
This could be money. It could be a relationship. We don't know. But Jimmy does have a $52 million player option that he could opt into. Why wouldn't he just wait until the end of the season, opt in? If they don't want to give him a contract, fine. You get your bread from your player option. Seek a trade for another team. You could have just waited the entire time, played your ass off, hopefully get a contract extension. Well, not a contract extension. If we couldn't get a contract extension, opt in and trade. But now you're making a whole hassle. You're fucking up the locker room. Everybody is in like a really bad space now. We just lost by 36 to the fucking Jazz the other night. I didn't watch it because I can't anymore. But let's move off of this for a minute. Not from the Jimmy Butler trade, but a different stance on it.
Okay.
Teams that would be able to trade for Jimmy.
I was just getting ready to say that. I was just about to say that. Okay.
So, my personal opinion, I've been seeing a lot of rumors that the Grizzlies are heating up. Could also be the Suns. Could also be the Mavericks. Doubt that. That's probably the least possible area.
Yeah.
Or the Warriors.
Doubt that too.
Now, huh?
No, continue. I said I doubt that too.
Oh, yeah, I do too. But before I get into my perspective, I want to hear your perspective of the teams and what they could potentially have trade pieces for.
Absolutely nothing. So I'm glad you asked me that because the past 2-3 days, I've been doing extensive research on Jimmy Butler and his suitors who can trade for him. Let's go to the Warriors. Let's go to the least likely to the more likely out of the 4 you named.
Okay.
I'll say the least likely is the Mavericks.
I do too.
Jimmy Butler's contract is so big, they can't even do any deal without starting with Klay Thompson, adding PJ Washington, and adding Daniel Gafford, and I don't know, maybe a pick or two, it depends.
I still don't think that salary matches. Either.
No, they have to start with Klay.
What I'm saying is those combined players I still don't think makes up.
No, it matches.
Contract.
It matches. Those two match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or Najee Marshall, who was balling for them.
Yeah, no.
The Mavericks aren't going to do that because why would they trade 3 key pieces that help them get – well, Klay just got there, but 2 key pieces that helped them get to the finals last season. Why would you do that? Now, I know what Jimmy brings, but now you know he's injury prone. He's 36, 35. You're taking 3 players for one. They're not like, no. Okay, so that's them. Golden State to make the salary work. They have to add Wiggins. They have to add Kuminga. They have to add Gary Payton. That's 3 key pieces to their team, plus some picks. They're not going to do that. Now the Suns put themselves in cap hell. So in order to do that trade, you got to start with Bradley Beal. For the Suns, getting Jimmy Butler a dog, that's good for them. Do the Heat want Bradley Beal?
He doesn't really fit anything, to be honest.
Hell no. And I wouldn't. If I'm not a Heat fan, but if I was a Heat fan, I wouldn't want Bradley Beal. He sucks. I cannot stand him. This is more personal, but I cannot stand him. Okay, the Grizzlies. They are a great team, like well-rounded team, from top to bottom. Ja Morant, for the past couple of years, either he's been suspended, either he's been injury prone. He plays, but there's always some reason why he'll play 5 games and then he's out for 2 weeks. Without him, for years, what are the Grizzlies notoriously known for? Being a great team without him. They play damn near better without him. So what are you going to do? You're going to gut pieces off of your roster to add Jimmy Butler? No. So my point being, like I said, with the research I've done, I don't think he can go anywhere because you have to trade assets. You have to extend him or pay him. Why would you trade assets when you could wait to the offseason and try, you know what I mean, sign and trade, try to pay him? What's the point of doing that?
Well, regardless, he's probably going to pick up the $52 million player option.
He better. Yeah, I mean, if he knows what's good for him, he would. But that's my look on it. I don't think he's getting traded at all.
So I'll start back up from basically where I asked you. So my rankings from least likely to likely is going to be Mavericks, Warriors, Suns, Grizzlies. Reason being, Mavericks, they don't have any assets that the Heat would want, unless it's picks, but they're still going to be a playoff contention team.
Exactly, so it's not going to matter.
Warriors, they're not going to give Kuminga. That's their prized asset. I mean, he's going to want a contract extension by the end of the year. So I mean, they're going to have to pay him $30 million+ for that. The only reason I'm saying that's not going to happen is because we're not going to go with Kuminga because he's been a project player. He's breaking out. I don't see him trading for a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler. Although it does fit the Golden State Warriors timeline with Curry because Curry doesn't have much time left, nor does Butler. So that's the only thing I can see that the Warriors would realistically trade. With the Suns, the one thing that you failed to mention was if we don't want Bradley Beal, there could be a 3-team trade in there.
Oh, okay. I didn't mention that.
So, the only way I could see that 3-team trade going is with the Kings.
Yeah, I was about to say, who joins?
Because,
oh my gosh, okay.
Because of De'Aaron Fox. Because De'Aaron Fox, Hero, and Bam all three of them played for Kentucky. They're Kentucky boys.
So they're linked up.
And he will literally fit straight into the team. Hero wouldn't have to, he could just play off ball, he could still play make. De'Aaron Fox is the point guard that we have been looking for the past 5 years. We have had shitty point guard play outside of Dragic. We really haven't had that pure point guard presence. I don't count Terry Rozier because he's terrible. I mean, giving up a first-round pick for him, I mean, it was good in the short run. Now it's just showing up that I don't even want to talk about him. The one trade I saw with the Grizzlies was they can get rid of Marcus Smart, Conchar, and Brandon Clark with a couple picks. Or if they don't want to give a couple picks, they'd give Desmond Bane because he has that contract extension that's just hit. So he's making around $28 million. Add Brandon Clark into there, maybe some salary filler and a couple first. Now, the Suns, Kings, and Heat 3-team trade. Would the Kings want Bradley Beal is the question. Now, you're going to be...
No, that's what I was going to... No.
Exactly. So, you don't really have a point guard outside. I mean, Devin Carter, I don't know too much about him. I think he's a shooting guard. He's more of a 3D kind of guy. Do they have a point guard outside of De'Aaron Fox that they lean on?
Malik Monk will be the point guard probably.
Okay. So having Malik Monk there, who's not a pure passer.
At all. But he can pass, though.
With Bradley Beal can sort of kind of not pass, whatever. I'm just trying to hype him up a little bit, I guess. But that, I don't know. But the only way that the Suns would be able to get Jimmy is if it's a 3-team trade. Or a 4-team, however many teams it takes.
3 or 4, okay.
But the thing is, Bradley Beal would have to agree because of the no trade clause. That's the reason why Bradley Beal is so hard to trade. Because he has a no trade clause and he would have to agree to be traded to that team.
But who wouldn't want to play in Miami? Like, are you kidding me?
I mean,
the weather's great.
You're in South Beach.
Exactly. So I don't think him waiving his trade clause to Miami would be an issue.
It's anywhere else that might be an issue.
That's anywhere else that might be the issue. And, bro, the only other scenario that I could really see if you bring the Kings involved is DeMar DeRozan. Because you see, they were a good team. They made the playoffs. They lost. They tried to build on that. They didn't build on it. They missed the playoffs by a game. Now you're like, okay, well, we got this young core. We got 2 stars, a superstar and a star, Sabonis, Fox. We need to add something. They bring DeRozan in. It doesn't fit. He hogs the ball too much. He slows the game down. Whatever. They fire their coach, whatever. They got a lot of stuff going on. The outlying piece, yeah, you could say Fox, but it's also DeRozan. The Heat aren't going to trade for DeMar DeRozan. Why would you swap a 36-year-old for a 36-year-old on a fat-ass contract unless you're trying to just get salary cap? Think about that, for example, because I'm pretty sure, I don't know.
Second apron.
Okay, yeah, so.
I couldn't tell if that's where you're going, but that's the first thing that popped in my mind.
I don't know. Like, there's nothing for right now, in my opinion, nothing makes sense.
Now, if DeMar DeRozan were to get traded, you obviously would get Beal, you would have Malik Monk. Would Keegan Murray slide into the 3? Or do you think he's better as a stretch 4?
Stretch 4. Well, I guess he could slide into the 3 though, but I don't know.
Then you could have Trey Lyles and then DeMontis, basically as a start. But I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ideas.
Yeah, I know.
But
I don't know, bro.
It was just reported that if they can't find a trade for Jimmy Butler, he's still going to end up playing. But I still realistically see him leaving before the trade deadline, just because you don't want to have all that emotion emotional stuff in the locker room. Jimmy comes back expecting to get traded. All the players are like, "Oh, hey, Jimmy, what's going on?" And he's just still in like that frantic attitude that he doesn't want to be there. So
Yeah.
I can't see Pat Riley not trading him before the deadline
Yeah, but
because you don't want to have.
where?
That's the problem. No one
Oh,
knows.
Houston.
Okay, so who are they going to give up?
Hold on. I forgot about that because Houston was a suitor. I don't know why that just popped in my damn head.
Okay, so who would they give up to match
Fred
his
Van
salary?
Vliet to match the salary because Fred Van Vliet has a big contract.
That's not
Maybe
bad.
Jabari Smith, the number 2 pick or 3 pick, whatever he was. You can start with there. You can give up some picks. You can give up Deshaun Tate, maybe Tari Eason, and then the Rockets have picks. Now that would be a spot that I could see him going. I completely forgot about the damn
Now,
Rockets.
what would you do with Terry? Would you just keep him on the bench?
Terry Rozier. I would trade his ass also. Not to them, but in a separate trade.
I'm not gonna lie. Fred Van Vliet and Hero would be a nasty backcourt. Not nasty, but it would be a decent one that you can keep for the playoffs.
I like Fred Van Vliet a lot. He's just very inconsistent. He's capable of going for 40, and then he's capable of dropping 5 points. So, like, I like Fred Van Vliet though. Outside of Houston, I don't know where he's gonna go, bro. Because you got to think, Houston has the number 2 defense in the whole league, and Jabari Smith is a huge part of that. Fred Van Vliet, believe it or not, but you take them out and you add a guy like Jimmy. Jimmy don't play no bullshit. Jimmy's not gonna have a little bullshit ass lollygagging games with Jalen Green. I think Jimmy can make Jalen Green a lot better. I think Jimmy can make that team a lot better. I completely forgot about them. Outside of that, I have no idea where he's going.
Well, all I know is that he wants to be anywhere but here.
That's what he said.
Yep.
So, shit. So, we got that out the way. Moving on. Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been the talk of the town throughout this whole NBA
damn time
podcast.
They're about to talk of the town again.
Here we are. I'm going to read this off to you. I'm going to read this off to you right now. OKC is on a 15-game winning streak, but they entered an onslaught of games. But the good thing in their favor, they were home for these games. They had to play the Grizzlies at home. There was no Jada. Going into that game, I didn't know he was going to be hurt. They blew the Grizzlies out. They had to play the Timberwolves healthy. They beat the Timberwolves. They had to play the Clippers at home. They blew the Clippers out, who's been surprisingly good this season.
Was that Kawhi's debut or no?
No, Kawhi just debuted yesterday.
Oh, okay.
We had to play the Knicks at home. The Knicks were not blowing OKC out, but beating OKC by 16 points at half. Believe it or not, that's the largest deficit OKC's faced at halftime this season. Came back and ended up beating them by 10. Clamped them in the second half. And the defending champions,
I was so happy to see
Boston Celtics, come marching into OKC. Let's talk about the game tonight. So, the defending champions coming to OKC, and to start off the game, it was a back and forth. OKC's playing hard. They go up by 5. The Celtics, they come back and they're up by 6. It was just like that throughout the whole first half, and then Boston went on a run to put OKC, I want to say, down by 12 at half. It was looking like, oh, well, this winning streak's over. You know what I'm saying? The Boston Celtics are fully healthy. OKC's not fully healthy. You thought that was going to catch up to them. Nope. Come out of halftime, and I want to read you this stat, Mike.
Right.
OKC holds
this
Boston Celtics to 27 total second half points on 20% shooting from the field. And they end up beating the Celtics pretty handily by 13. And Jaylen Brown was a non-factor the whole second half. Tatum was doing his thing, not as good as the first half. Shea picked it up, Lou Dort picked it up, and OKC steamrolled the Celtics in the second half. So my question to you is, how dangerous is this OKC team?
Well, I think they are probably the most well-rounded team in the NBA. You have damn near the MVP. It feels like it's going to be locked in at one point. Shea is carrying this team.
I hope it is, but I doubt it.
I personally, I hope it is. I'm tired of being the same old people that win the MVP. I mean, having Shea be a part of this with the Paul George trade and him becoming way more than the Clippers ever thought he was probably going to be, trade him to the Thunder and have this probably the best young core in the NBA with Shea, J-Dub, Chet, Lou Dort, although I think he's probably late 20s at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Caruso, Hardenstein, the other J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe. I mean, I can go on with the list, but OKC is the best young core in the league, and I'm just happy that they're back on top because it's been about time. I mean, they were good last year. I'm not gonna.
They were the number one seed last year.
Yeah, they were great, but we didn't know if that was just going to be a fluke of a run.
Yep.
Or if they were actually for real and had to show up. Now, I did see this today on Twitter. This is around the timeline where they can start ramping up Chet.
I heard. Here's the problem. 8 to 10 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? 8 to 10 weeks. So it's January, so March. There's only one problem with that, bro. And I'm so scared and nervous and I'm upset. When he comes back, he's only going to have, what, a month to the playoffs to get back into gear and get ready for the gauntlet that the West is. Is he going to be ready for that?
I mean, he kind of has no choice.
He doesn't have a choice, but that don't, like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you could ramp him up, but you could ramp him up, give him maybe like 10 minutes in there for the next, 2 or 3 games, or ramp up the minutes every other game or whatever.
Yeah,
but Hardenstein's gonna have to take a step back. He knows it.
They're either, because what I was hearing, they're either going to do Shea, Dort, Jalen Williams at the 3, Chet at the 4, Hart at the 5. They said because they paid Isaiah all that money, they're not going to bench him. They're going to start him, they said. How's that going to look? You know what I'm saying? You only have a month. They haven't played and that's what scares me. As good as OKC is, like I was telling you, last year, we were the number 1 seed, but it came back down to the last day. There was 3 teams, us, the Nuggets, and the Wolves, tied at 57 wins heading into the last day. We made it out as a 1 seed, but we're the 1 seed handily. But what's going to happen? You're accustomed to playing a certain way now. What's going to happen when you have to add Chet? You got to get Chet the ball. Now, he doesn't require the ball like a DeMar DeRozan, but you got to get him involved. How is that going to look? Is he going to be a good floor spacer at the 4? Like, there's so many questions. Caruso is injured in and out of the lineup. How are they all going to play together? And that's what I'm scared about.
I don't think it's going to be a problem because
I hope not, bro.
With Chet plugging back in, it's only going to make it better. It's not going to make it any worse.
You don't know that, though. What if he's not ready? Well, no, not ready. But, like, what if he's, like, he got to play himself back into shape?
I mean,
he's
that's
not
just
the
that's the harsh
well.
of injuries. You just got to hope and pray that he can
that's
just
what I'm saying.
I mean, I can't compare this to KD whatsoever. But KD came off with Achilles and just started playing crazy. This is Chet, though. He dealt with a season-ending injury before the season started, his rookie season. This is his second major injury, I believe, right? Major?
Yeah, because he played every game last season.
And this was his back or his hip?
His hip.
Okay. So, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem as long as he makes sure that he doesn't fall too hard on that same hip. But maybe the shooting motion and, standing and dunking, but I think he'll be fine. I think you're just overthinking it.
I hope you're right.
Personally, I hope I am too, because OKC is probably my favorite team in the West.
You feel me? That's how I feel about Miami.
You wish.
At Miami,
you wish.
Miami is my favorite team in the East. But because of Jimmy. But my point is, Mike, think about it. Just hear me out. You start the season And Isaiah, in a preseason, Hartenstein fractures his hand. So now your biggest signing in OKC history is out for 2 months or something like that. So boom, he's about to come back, and now your number one pick, is out for 4 months. You got Caruso in out of the lineup. They never got a chance to play yet. So if you put all the pieces together, you would think, oh my God, wait till Chet gets back. That's not always a good thing, though. Not a bad thing, but it's not always a good thing because now you got to bump, like I said, you got to bump Jalen Williams down from the 4 to the 3. You got to take out Isaiah Joe or take out Caruso was starting at the 2 sometimes, or Kason Wallace was at the 2. You got to bump one of them to the bench. I just don't know, bro. And then you have a month left. You only have a month.
I think it starts in April. No.
Yeah, but he'll get back in March.
No, they're gonna start ramping him up now.
No, they said 8 to 10 weeks.
No.
They said Chet Holmgren will be, if he comes back, it will be within 8 to 10 weeks, which is 2 months, which is a month left.
No, from what I saw, I thought this is the time where they're going to start ramping him up. I
No.
would try.
No, trust me, bro. Trust me, 8 to 10 weeks, bro. That's why I'm scared. If it was right now, like if he was to come back like super soon, I probably wouldn't complain because there's more games. But my only issue is there's a month. But there's another thing I wanted to talk to you about with OKC. So let me see this real quick. Okay, they're not showing it. Okay, anyway, look. Boom. So OKC, one problem that they had this season that they didn't have last season was what? Shooting. We weren't like Boston. We were like Boston, I think this year and last year, they were the number one in getting up threes. OKC was number one in 3-point percentage, not attempts. And Boston, speaking of which, tonight they shot 44 threes. But anyway, Wiggins has been shooting well. Isaiah Joe hasn't been shooting well. Jalen Williams shooting has been down. Lou Dort shooting has been down. Kason Wallace
been a streaky shooter though.
Yeah, but they were number one, and I didn't think we were going to repeat number one, but we're like middle of the pack shooting. So I want your thoughts on this. Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. He's one of the best standstill shooters, if not the best in the league right now. OKC has been rumored to get Cam Johnson. Would you do that and add another piece, or would you just leave what you have because you're the number one seed?
Obviously, top contenders want to add on to their team. Get rid of players aren't getting as much playing time. Add a couple picks, and bolster their team. We all know that Sam Presti has hoarded all of these picks from the past 5 years. You got to use them at one point, right? So with the Nets seeking at least one first round pick for Cam Johnson, you guys have the most amount of picks for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't mind them giving a first round pick for Cam Johnson, but who would you give up for him?
Exactly. So what I was hearing was Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe.
I wouldn't give up Joe.
One of the two, right? But
probably Aaron Wiggins, if anything.
But you see Aaron Wiggins, like, bro, listen to this, bro. So Aaron Wiggins, I don't know if people know, before the past couple of games, his minutes have gotten cut down a lot, actually. So we play the Knicks, and I'm hearing trade rumors about Aaron Wiggins. Oh, a lot of these guys on OKC are expendable. They're not going to be on OKC in the future. We're going to have to start paying guys. We're going to have to start using these picks to get gems like Aaron Wiggins back on the roster to save money. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But I wouldn't trade Aaron Wiggins at all. Not right now. What happens? We're playing the Knicks. The Knicks are whooping us. Aaron Wiggins in the fourth quarter makes like 4 of 4 or 5 of 5. Threes and an and one. 15 points in the fourth, and he damn near single-handedly won us that game. Tonight, Aaron Wiggins played good against Boston, showing why you probably should not trade him. Would I like the idea of Cam Johnson? Sure, because OKC they need shooting, and he's one of the best shooters. But then Aaron Wiggins does stuff like that. It's like, why would you get rid of him? You know? That's
Uh,
how I feel.
I don't know. Maybe because Cam Johnson is more reliable. He's been in the league longer.
Yeah.
Maybe, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if they don't need to trade for him, don't. Now, if you think Aaron Wiggins is expendable, you trade one of your shitty draft picks that you have, either one of the first rounds, potentially get him. But you're not in a rush to bolster. You don't really need to bolster. You just need to keep going. Hopefully, when Chet gets back, he can ramp up. He can, get back to his old form. But there's not really I don't see a reason to get Cam Johnson.
Thank you, bro. And again, I don't mind him at all. But I don't know. I don't know.
I just
I
don't
probably
think the
wouldn't do it.
OKC needs to bolster. They have a good enough roster.
Thank you. You're the number one seed. There's flaws on the team, but you're the number one seed handily. Now you got to play Cleveland Wednesday night for the number one record in the entire NBA. You might be the number one seed in the whole NBA after Wednesday. All you have to do, in my opinion, is just get healthy. Let Caruso take his time. Make sure Chet comes back ready, and see how you look. I don't think there's a reason to do that, and then add somebody else. I don't.
I feel like
Aaron Wiggins, there's no reason.
unless you're in line for a legitimate superstar with all those picks, and they give up some role players, give up maybe 4 or 5 first round picks,
Yeah.
then you consider it. But other than that, if you're just gonna bolster just to bolster, and it's just gonna be for like a role player that's not like he's gonna be like the 4th or 5th option at that point, I would just save your picks and wait for the next superstar that's ready.
Yep, and that's how I feel about it. So we're on the same page with that. Because OKC fans, I hear them on Twitter, I hear them on Bleacher Report. I'm not doing that, bro. Just keep what you got. But there's another topic that you wanted to talk about, right?
I want to talk about 2, but since we're running, it seems like we're running out of time. I'll just talk about 1.
Okay.
Let's talk about Ant. That boy, Ant, put up. Although they got destroyed by the Pistons, I saw Ant put up 35, and it was midway to the third quarter. Guess how many players had more than 10 points on that team besides him?
How many?
None.
Oh, wow.
It was literally just him carrying the entire team. Now, I can realistically say the Timberwolves fucked up by trading away Cat. Personally, for me, because Ant's having to do all the fucking work. Yeah, Gobert, not a scorer. He's only a defender. Julius Randle doesn't give a rat's ass about defense. Doesn't give a rat's ass about offense. That's why they traded him from New York, because they knew that he just wasn't a reliable player. He's a streaky player. He's a strict role player. He's a 3rd or 4th option at best. I don't think he's a 2nd option.
Damn.
Because he is so streaky, and personally for me, I don't like him. I don't like Julius Randle as a player. Doesn't give any effort on the defense. Thinks he's the whole shit on the offense when he really isn't. And Ant is the man. But they traded away Cat. And now...
That looks like the worst trade ever, bro. Oh, my God.
I mean, they got one of the best first round picks in the entire league right now with the Pistons. I think it's tough, high protected, but regardless, what was the point? What was the point of that trade? You made it to the
Western
you went to the
Conference
Finals for the first time since the KG era, and you decided to just destroy that and throw away Cat like he was basically nothing. When he wanted to play, he never requested anything. He was happy. You threw him away, picked up someone that's way worse than him, got Dante DiVincenzo, who just doesn't seem like he's fitting for the Timberwolves. He's a great defensive player, but you fuck up your core, throw Cat away, get Julius Randle, and now who do you got to blame? Because now Ant's doing everything by himself.
Yeah.
And it's just mind-boggling. You see how the Knicks are playing really well now with Cat. What was the fucking point?
Not only are they playing really well, he's looking like an MVP candidate, bro. He is balling.
He may be balling, but he's not.
I mean, bro. I'm gonna read you some stats, bro. I'm gonna read you some stats. Karl Anthony Towns right now is averaging 25 and 14, bro, and he's shooting great.
I mean,
Just
yeah,
saying. Just saying.
you're saying
But
he's MVP candidate when your boy is about to win MVP.
I don't know if he's about to win MVP though. I think Jokic is probably going to get it again. But that's
I really
neither
hope he
here nor
doesn't.
there. That's another topic discussion for another day. But let's stay with Ant-Man for a second. So I don't know if you heard, Shaq and Charles Barkley were going in on Ant because they think that he's playing because Ant started the season off and Ant was shooting the ball a lot, but it was going in. He like hit like 7 threes opening night. And he had like a couple games where he was hitting 6 and 7 and 5 threes, and he was averaging like 25, 30 points. And then it stopped. He'd been averaging like 20, maybe 18 points. And they were talking about how Ant is making himself more guardable by
About the double teams and stuff.
not even the double teams. Like by him just continuously settling for jumpers, it's making the Timberwolves easier to guard because Ant is at his best when he's going downhill, getting to the rim, and one dunking on people, collapsing the defense where he could kick the shooters. Now he's just shooting the ball. He's just shooting.
Because
So
he
I
knows
find it funny.
he knows he can't rely on anybody else to do it, so he has to do it himself.
But this is what I'm saying. I find it funny though, Mike. They said that, and then you know what he did the very next game?
Put up 50.
He shot 15 threes. After they said, "Oh, you probably need to stop shooting as much and start driving and punishing the defense," he shot 15 threes. He made 10 though. That's why he had 53. But he shot 15. Why is he shooting so much?
We all know why.
You think it's because the team sucks?
I just don't. Cat was the perfect fit alongside him. And
I
the
wouldn't
fact
say
that
I
you
wouldn't say
trade-
perfect. I wouldn't say
well,
perfect.
not perfect, but he was a great number two.
He's a good fit.
But every single game is showing that the Timberwolves fucked up.
Yeah.
You go from having the best season since KG, basically throwing it away and saying, you know what, we don't need Cat. Randall will do the exact same. You thought. You fucking thought.
Yeah.
And now you're paying the consequences. And do you see them being a first round exit?
Okay, so let's look at the standings first. So I mean, it's still very early, but right now they're the 10th seed. They might not even make the playoffs, bro. Now I do know the way the West is from teams number 4 through 11. It's only a 3-game difference.
I mean, yeah,
Maybe
it's still a
3.5.
shit ton of games to play.
It's a shit ton of games. They can easily get in. But to answer your question, they're not winning a playoff series, bro. They might only win one playoff game, depending on who they play.
That's how it was last year with the Heat.
They might win one game.
Yeah.
But that's just poor management. Cat said the trade was out of left field. Like you said, you go to the conference finals. You're supposed to build on that.
You're supposed to add to it, not.
They went backwards. They went backwards, bro.
Now, let me say this. If they lose in the first round or not even make the playoffs, fire the GM. Why? Because you throw away your star player that you've had since he's been drafted. He hasn't complained, hasn't said shit, been playing out of his damn mind for the Timberwolves, and then you trade your loyal player for a worse player, a role player that was good on the Knicks, but he had a resurgence on the Knicks, so there's not really a point for the Knicks to really trade him. Fire the GM. There was no reason for that trade. Fucked up the team. Now you gotta live with it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm on board with that too. I would get rid of his ass. I'm on board with that actually. But
So
yeah, man, that's just how I feel about it, bro. That was just stupid.
yep.
All
So
right, well, that's gonna wrap us up. 40-minute
a
episode.
little bit longer than usual.
But we're back for the new year, and we'll see you guys in the next one, man. Comment, like, subscribe. See you boys next time.
Peace.